Hello everyone, I'm Ray of Ladies of Destiny, and this is our very first dungeon guide for the Cataclysm Heroics. Today we'll be going over the bosses of Heroic Vortex Pinnacle. The first boss you will encounter is Grand Vizier Ertan, who will summon cyclones on the outskirts of the room as you pull them. You'll have to make sure you move in as a group, as hitting any of the cyclones will instantly give you a debuff that will greatly reduce your movement, attack, and casting speeds. Damage on this first phase is not very challenging at all, so just go ahead and maximize your DPS, as your healer may struggle later with their mana pool on lower gear levels. A few seconds into the fight, he will retrieve his cyclone shield to the middle of the room, and you will need to move away from the cyclones to avoid getting the debuff. He will then proceed to spam Lightning Bolt on random party members, which can also be difficult to heal, so you should use any defensive cooldowns available until the phase is over. He will also summon Tempest Lurkers on random locations. These will become active if nobody is close to them and increase the damage on the group to some very risky levels. The best way to deal with these is to be relatively close to the middle so that they remain inactive for the entire fight. After this, he will go back to phase 1. Just remember to avoid getting too close to cyclones, as the debuff will considerably lower your group's DPS. As a healer, you will have a very tough time sustaining your mana pool for anything more than a couple of cyclone phases. Bear this in mind as the fight continues. With enough practice, this kill is easily accomplished. The second boss is Altarius. As you pull him, you will notice several tornadoes will spawn randomly and start to move around the room slowly. These will be there during the entire fight, and you will want to avoid getting hit by them, as they will knock you off the platform and get you out of combat for a while, if not killing you. Altarius will randomly target a group member and breathe on them, hitting anyone in that particular direction, so you'll want to spread out as much as possible to minimize the breath damage at all times. Throughout the duration of the fight, he will change the direction of the wind with a spell animation you won't be able to miss. When this happens, you'll want to be standing in between the source of the wind and the dragon, which will give you a big haste buff. If the dragon is ahead of you from that particular direction, you'll have a reduced movement speed and a considerable DPS loss until you manage to move to the proper location. To make it easier on your group, you will want to tank the boss in the middle of the room so that the moving to the right locations is easier for everybody. Just remember you have to be relatively spread out so that the breath doesn't hit your entire party every time. It can be confusing the first time, but once you grasp the concept, this fight becomes very enjoyable and the kill is easily accomplished. The final boss you will meet in the Vortex Pinnacle will be Assad. As with the other two bosses, the tank damage is not significantly hard to heal. However, he will be doing chain lightning very often, and it hits for a considerable amount of damage, so you will want to keep a safe distance between your group members at all times. Assad will also put a debuff on all your group members called Static Cling, which will effectively root everybody in place. He will then proceed to cast Supremacy of the Storm, where he will draw a triangle on a random location, and after a few seconds he will channel massive damage over the entire room except in that triangle. Anyone who can dispel should help your healer out to make sure you get into the safe zone as quickly as possible, as it can sometimes be troublesome to dispel and heal at the same time. Right after Supremacy of the Storm is over, you will need to spread out instantly, as he will once again root everyone and start casting Chain Lightning, which can be deadly if you're not spread out enough before he roots all of you. The fight will repeat itself after this point. If you do it properly, it shouldn't be too hard. Just remember to assist your healer with the dispels if you can. You have now completed Vortex Pinnacle on Heroic Mode. Congrats! This was Ray bringing you our first LoD Cataclysm Dungeon Guide. If you want to see our other boss guides in the future, make sure to check out our channel and website, and feel free to join our blog to participate in our discussions. Both links can be found in the description box below. Don't forget to subscribe, and thanks for watching! Till next time!